your side, right?
My name is Mohammed Khan.
We are from International Presidential School of Tajikistan, and this is our project, a natural medicine for treatment of anemia, boosting immunity and prevention of cancer. So I will make a short summary of our project. Taking precaution against many diseases become crucial in recent century, since many artificial food and radiation from electronic devices threatening our health. If we control what we eat, we'll be protected against many diseases. Mulberry is one of the most beneficial fruit of Tajikistan. It is consumed as a fresh fruit, but molasses of it is ignored by people. We want to explore some benefits of molasses of mulberry to attract people's attention to it. Our hypothesis is that molasses of mulberry is a good remedy for anemia, boosting immunity, and prevention of cancer. We observe effects of it in two steps: counting numbers of blood cells and catalyze test. We took consent of 7 people to work with us. They have consumed molasses of mulberry for 4 days, 2 times a day. We also measured numbers of bubbles produced by breakdown of 1.25 ml of hydrogen peroxide with 0.5 ml of blood, before and after feeding them with molasses. Average increase in 200,000 erythrocytes, 1,820 leukocytes, and 191,000 platelets. And also 30 millimeter more hydrogen bubbles produced by breakdown of hydrogen peroxide with blood prove that our hypothesis is correct. Molasses of mulberry, like a natural medicine for anemia, boosting immunity, and prevention of cancer.
So the first method of our project is preparing molasses of mulberry. At first, what we need is 2.5 liters of water, a hot plate, a pot, 1 kilogram of dried mulberry, a strainer, and a scale, and a 40 centimeter by 40 centimeter tissue. At first, what we need to measure 1 kilogram of dried mulberry. Add into the pot, add 2.5 liters of water into the pot, boil it for 40 minutes, filter it through a strainer, squeeze it with a tissue, boil it for 20 minutes more, and our molasses is ready to drink.
Our second method is counting numbers of blood cells. First, what you do, you take 1 liter of blood from each patient. Then you take it into the analyze machine. Analyze machine counts the total numbers of erythrocytes, leukocytes, and platelets. Then you give them 150 milliliter of molasses. They should consume it two times a day along 4 days. After that, you take the blood samples again, put it into the analyze machine. Analyze machine counts the erythrocytes, leukocytes, and platelets, the total number of these. And then after all this procedure, you record your results in the table.
So our third step is catalyst test. At first, we take 0.5 milliliter of blood with the syringes, number the test tube from 1 to 6, add 0.5 milliliter of blood into the test tube, add 1.2 milliliter of hydrogen peroxide into each test tube, measure the amount of vertical bubbles produced in the test tube, give molasses of mulberry to each patient, take 0.5 milliliter of blood again from each patient, and calculate the number of bubbles produced in the test tube by the ruler.
Now we will explain the results, and I will start with the red blood cells. Here are the patients. Here is control. It's before consuming molasses, and test group is after consuming molasses. Mahina Muhammad, she had 4.03 million of red erythrocytes, which had increased to 4.26 million. Yasmina Jamshedova, from 3.33 million, it had increased to 4 million of erythrocytes. Husnu Yaman, from 4.73 million to 4.8 million, it had increased. Safia Safarov, from 3.83 million of red blood cells, it increased to 4.26 million. Azyon Sailay, from 5.13 million, it decreased to 5.06 million. Shalo Zoirova, from 4.30 million, it increased to 4.36 million.
So now we'll explain the result of number of white blood cells. This is our subject. Control before, test is after. So Maina Muhammad, she had 7.91 thousand, which increased to 9.46 thousand. Yasmina Jamshedova, she had 5.62 thousand, which increased to 7.05 thousand. Husno Yaman, he had 6.02 thousand, which increased to 6.86 thousand. Safia Safarova, she had 5.46 thousand, which increased to 8.57 thousand. Ajjon Saidulayev, he had 7.44 thousand, which increased to 9.49 thousand. Bibijon Umarova, she had 6.01 thousand, which increased to 7.46 thousand.
Now I will explain the changes in number of platelets. Here is the patient, control group, and test group. Mahina Muhammad, she had 149,000 of platelets, which increased to 314. Yasmina Jamshedova, from 46,000 it increased to 311,000 of platelets. Husnu Yaman, from 175 to 234,000. Safia Safarova, from 44,000 to 361,000. Ajjon Saidulayev, from 159,000 to 278,000 of platelets. Shalo Zoirova, from 360,000 of platelets to 581,000 platelets. So results, the change in platelets have proved us that the blood clotting will be even better.
So now I'll explain the result of calculus test. These are our subjects, control, and test. Control is before consuming molasses, test is after consuming molasses. So Maina Muhammad, she had 95 millimeter, which increased to 152 millimeter. Yasmina Jamshedova, she had 98 millimeter, which increased to 136 millimeter. Husnu Yaman, he had 105 millimeter, which increased to 122 millimeter. Safia Safarova, she had 107 millimeter, which increased to 145 millimeter. Ajjon Saidulayev, he had 132 millimeter, which increased to 135 millimeter. Shalo Zoirova, she had 102 millimeter, which increased to 120 millimeter.
Now I will explain the conclusion of our project. We calculated the average increase in red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. We got following results. Average increase in 1 centimeter cubed. Red blood cell, erythrocytes had increased to 200,000. White blood cells, leukocytes, had increased to 1,820. Platelets had increased 191,000. It's all averagely results. Average bubble production has also increased into 30 millimeter more. Here is the number of blood cells. Why did the change of red blood cells had occurred? Because of the vitamin B, amino acids, and mostly because of the iron. Iron is one of the was founded in molasses. It is a lot of iron. Number of white blood cells increased because of the amino acids and vitamin B complex. Number of platelets increased because of the vitamin K that is founded in the molasses. Increase of platelets it makes the blood clotting even better, and increase in white blood cells makes the immunity stronger. Breakdown of hydrogen peroxide was even better because of the molasses of mulberry has peroxidase enzyme. That's why it had increased the 30 millimeter more bubble produced in breakdown of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide it is one of the toxic elements. So increasing eating molasses of mulberry protects you from getting the cancer because of the other free radicals like hydrogen peroxide and other toxic elements. According to the research that we made and results that we got, our hypothesis is correct. You can ask yourself one of the most important questions. How does molasses of mulberry make the world to be a better place? Molasses of mulberry treats anemia, it fights against cancer, and it also helps people that suffer from heart attacks. It's also a good antioxidant. Molasses of mulberry makes your immunity stronger, and that it prevents cancer is one of the most good sides of molasses of mulberry. It's the cheapest thing that you can find, and people waste thousands of dollars to for treatment of cancer, for treatment of other diseases. But you can just consume molasses of mulberry just 2 times a day. 2 times a day is enough, and it will help you a lot.
So, molasses of mulberry also consists of many vitamins such as vitamin A, vitamin B12, vitamin C, vitamin K, and vitamin E. Also consists of many minerals such as sodium, copper, zinc, and others.